Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, part 2 of this episode. Part 1 is available. It was released on Monday, so do go and check it out. I am one of your co-hosts, Adnan. My co-host Adam is here. Adam, you here?
I'm here. I'm drinking my tea because I am all for Britain coming back and taking us back.
Indeed. We might just leave you now as well, just because it's been so many years since, like...
Yeah, you're just
whatever.
all like, yeah, I think that ship has sailed, guys. You're on your own. Bye-bye.
Yes, I think you are on your own. But do you know who's not alone? The listeners, because we are back with part 2. So obviously, if you haven't listened to part 1, we split this because there's quite a lot of StrangeCast conversations that we need to kind of catch up on since the last episode, because we pushed things behind because of Lost Records Journal, and it did back-to-back episodes. So we're just going to do this, and we felt that the second half is a lot of Don't Nod stuff as well. So we're kind of going to focus on Don't Nod as the second part of the conversation and tackle a lot of the topics, because a lot of news did actually happen in the build-up to this episode. So we feel like it's rightfully right for us to do that. But before we start, if you are new here, please do subscribe, turn notifications, like this video. If you do not like this video, I'm going to get the boulder that hit Gabe and I'm going to throw you off a cliff. That's what's going to happen. Yeah? You're going to get hit by a boulder. What are you looking at? We try and make this... Because if you don't like the video, you're going to get hit by a boulder. That's why. If someone said to you didn't like your music, what would you do with them? You'd hit them with a guitar? Or the keyboard in your case? Yes, you would.
I would go monkey mode and I would poop my hand and throw poop at them.
But that's still no different from getting hit by a boulder, isn't it? Like,
I think so. One's soft. Something. I haven't been eating either way. I'm actually a vegetarian, so my poop is soft now.
Either way, you'll be hit by a boulder if you do not like this video. So yes, I hope you like the video. Anyway, and also as well, the podcast is available on all podcast services. So we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Don't look at me like that. Do not look at me. I'm trying to do the introduction here. You are ruining the introduction.
I'm not looking at nothing. I'm looking at my screen.
Podcast is available on all services. Spotify, go and rate us as well. We're at 43 ratings, I think it is, with 4.8 ratings. Thank you so much for that. And also as well, we have 295 followers, 5 away from 300. So please help us hit 300. We're almost at the 4-year anniversary of StrangeCast. It'll be very much deeply appreciated if you can help us get there. And if you do, follow the podcast, you instantly get access to the episodes as soon as they become available. I like the first part. I like the second part. Just a refresher as well. We've kind of like split this episode again because of the different content we're covering, and also my schedule is manic at the moment because either we split the episodes and you get the podcast, or we don't split the podcast and it's not coming. So it just works out more effectively. Adam, we're back here for a lot of stuff. Should we kick off with our first piece of news? Because it's a very interesting piece of news that's come in.
Yeah, and I'm curious about this one. Yeah.
So we're going to here, which is True Trophies. It says PS Plus Extra's latest Day 1 games had an underwhelming launch. This is specifically in reference to Lost Records. If you're wondering, it says there the Day 1 launch. PS5 launch of Lost Records and PS Plus Extra produced a fairly average player count, suggesting that subscribers largely ignore the new title. So it says here, Lee Bradley says, announced during February's State of Play showcase, Lost Records Boom Rage was revealed as the first of several Day 1 PS Plus Extra launch games coming in 2025. It felt like a big get for Sony's subscription service, the spiritual successor to the ever-popular Life is Strange series, available for subscribers to play Day 1. However, judging by Lost Records' PS Plus player count, it seems that most players decided to give it a pass at launch. So, as you can see here, using a gameplay data sample of over 3.4 million active PSN accounts, courtesy of our partnership with Game Trends, which draws most of its PSN data from sources beyond True Trophies, we've kept track of debut player counts for every PS5 and PS4 game made available via PS Plus Extra and Premium. So as you can see, it says that includes Lost Records Boom Rage, a new narrative game that saw its PS5 launch, including the recent PS Plus Extra and Premium February 2025 update. At launch, subscribers have been able to enjoy the first episode of the game's story, with the second half, aka Take 2, set to launch as a free update in April 15th, 2025. So far, we've covered how the game's PS Plus launch was overshadowed by Star Wars Jedi Survivor by hitting PS Plus Extra in the same update. Lost Records saw 43.2% fewer players than the Fallen Order sequel. However, I think it's also important to look at the game's overall performance compared to all the Day 1 PS Plus Extra games released as so far, as it helps to explain why this launch feels underwhelming. So as you can see there, and we're
Stray, of course, number
listeners.
1.
Yeah,
like,
Stray,
absolutely.
which is like is always going. I think it's probably going to sit there forever unless something like comes out of nowhere, like a sleeper hit. It's giving us a full list of 13 games on there, variation of different games. A lot of them are, I would say, from most people might not even hear it. Here's one of Adam's favorite, which is Dave the Diver at number 2. And Lost Records has debuted at number 8 on that list, which is quite a lot of it. And it's kind of interesting to note because I think the next part, which comes into it, I think the next couple of paragraphs are interesting because it gives you a bit more context on it. It says, as you can see from the chart above, Lost Records Bloom Rage's PS Plus Extra launch falls among the weaker half of the day one titles released so far. Its failure to live up to Stray's success back in 2022 is a given. Stray remains the biggest game to ever hit PS Plus Extra so far, and nothing can match it. Yes, it's not great to see the game land par with the decidedly average launch of 2024's Tales of Kenzara Zao?
Tales of Kenzara Zao.
Kenzara Zao. Now, to be clear, that doesn't make Lost Records launch feel like an outright failure. It was still the second biggest game in the February 2025 update, and of the 500 titles to join PS Plus Extra and Premium since July 2022, Lost Records ranks as the 51st biggest game so far. There's really no such thing as a bad PS Plus game day one PS Plus game. They almost always do well on the service. Still, I can't help but feel disappointed result for such a noteworthy PS5 game launch. It pulled in only 0.2% more players than Surgeon Studios' Tales of Kenzara, a game that seemingly failed to make the sort of impact necessary to help the developer avoid layoffs and funding issues in the months that followed its launch last year. The economics and development conditions likely vary greatly between the upstart Surgeon Studio and Lost Records' well-established developer and publisher Dontnod, but it's not a great omen. At least Dontnod's case, there's a second episode still to come, giving the game another chance to pull PS5 players in. Hopefully the approach works, because I do think Lost Records is certainly worth checking out. I think that's the end of it. So Adam, there's the big metric, which was the fact that Lost Records' Bloom Rage's user count is not at the highest necessarily on PlayStation. We went through the Steam numbers on the Lost Records Journal, and they weren't massive, obviously. I just wanted to know what you think of that.
I'm pulling up two things real quick. Okay, April 2024. The first thing that comes into my mind is that it makes sense. It really does make a lot of sense. I'm not trying to say that of course, like it's going to fail, but like two things come to mind, right? I won't beat a dead horse, because all over this podcast we looked at the February 2025 release schedule. Like it has been known that they are coming in a heavy month, especially with Monster Hunter Wilds. A lot of people's time is taken up right now. It came out at the same time as Evalt, but that's an Xbox exclusive, so that doesn't even count. But we have Civ 7. A lot of big games came out. But what I do want to look at, the top two games, right, in that day one release, I want to bring up top two. Share screen. So let's look at July of 22, right? July of 22. Let's look more at PlayStation more specifically. So July 1st, you have F1 22, right? Nobody really is going to go on that. AI, Simulant Files, PS4, Time on Frog Island. But you see all these Escape Academy. People enjoyed that. But like Stray, arguably, for PS5, right? Arguably was like the biggest release, because look at all these other releases, right? That was like the big release. Stray, like you get to play as a sneaky little cat. But then we look at the other one, right? We look at Dave the Diver's. We look at Dave the Diver's release schedule, and what do we have here? Dave the Diver's release schedule in April 2024. Like, look at that. Kutsu, right? Botany. Like, you don't really have a ton here. I mean, you have a lot, but like nothing really sticks out with you. I don't even see David Diver on this list. It said April 2024, but I don't even see it. Interesting. But what I'm trying to say is that it makes sense on two stances, right? The number one games, the number two game on that day one wasn't really piled on with some heavy hitters, but Lost Records was, right? Lost Records was. And more, in fact, what they did say is that it came out in the same month as the update with Jedi Survivor coming out. So people are hyped about that. The other thing to think about, too, is that it's only tape 1.
Yeah.
And then tape 2 is coming out in April, right? So a lot of people might be on PS Plus right now saying like, well, I'm just going to play it when it's all out. You know, I want to binge it. We're in a binging crisis right now. We're in a binging epidemic at this point. So not a lot of people are going to be playing this because they know it's unfinished, quote unquote, in their opinion. So I don't think of this as a detriment. I just think of it like it makes sense. You know, like catch me on the streets in May, right? Like give me the stats on May 1st, and then we can talk. But like right now, it makes sense with the numbers.
Yeah, like if anything as well, hopefully the deal that they signed with PlayStation was lucrative in itself as well. That covers the costs of like it not performing that well in terms of sales.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me as well, as you said, because like think about it as well. Assassin's Creed was meant to come out in this window, and it hasn't. So if Assassin's Creed had come out in this window, that would have overshadowed this even more. Different genres, different completely games, but people have different interests, man. Like Adam was getting avowed into his timeline of games when this game was coming out because he's like, I want to play in this order to try and get things sorted. So, you know, people are busy as it is. The climate's different. It's more expensive to buy games, etc., etc. And if obviously it came out in that same 2024 window it previously aimed for, it would have probably been like a Dave the Diver situation where it's not got much around it. So people are going to put their eyes on it. Again, Don't Nod is a small independent developer going up against a AAA behemoth. EA still publishes Star Wars, isn't it? Jedi.
Yes, it's EA.
Yeah, so they still publish that. So it's EA, for example. It's like that's like, you know, David and Goliath situation completely, and they're never going to outnumber it. So the numbers are steady so far, if anything. And I think maybe it's like a kind of a taste sampler, if any, for Don't Nod. I think they will benefit from marketing from PlayStation because PlayStation will keep tweeting this whilst it's available and free. The metric will be the second tape, which will be the one that drags it. I hope that drags it up in the count as well, because if that does pop off the way that I think it could hopefully do, then we know maybe we're banking here on something that's big. But this will happen though. The industry's so different. This game is like, it has got a different reception from people where they think that it's a really slow game. It is a slow burner. You need to accept it for that, and you need to go in that mindset of it. But that might also deter people from playing it as well, because they might be like, why would I play this when Star Wars is there? I can play that instead. That could be a knock-on effect from it. It is interesting to see where it is, but it just kind of shows you it's kind of that statistics that they pulled up on that graph as well. It kind of shows you that studios have collapsed and have fallen apart because of like things that have like where games haven't launched the way they wanted to, or the success hasn't happened with it. And we'll come on to it because there's a load of Don't Nod stuff in here that we're going to talk about. But this also shows that Don't Nod's fragility in 2025 and the 2024 cycle of the gaming industry. Like even they're struggling among this as well. And it's the same from Deck 9, it's the same from Square Enix, it's the same from all these. We cover these as well. And you see Square Enix's financial earnings, it shows every single time that underperformances are happening. So with these guys as well, I'm probably thinking that they are banking on the second tape to lift it, because you have a space now. We have this month space leading up to April. And I think that they're hoping that the second tape delivers on a big way, Life is Strange-esque, where the momentum's like, whoosh, and people then pick up the first tape because it comes collectively. You can't buy them separately. Both tapes are available on PS Plus. People might see the second tape and think, oh, that's actually really exciting. And then they're willing to sit through the slow pace of the first tape then to get to the second tape. So all thing, I'm not going to say it's a complete damning indictment, but it is something to kind of remember, where it feels like, you know, maybe if this was 10 years ago, that could have been where Stray is, depending on where success and things happen. But the climate of the industry is so different. So we will keep you up to date with that as well, because I think Adam is right. It'll probably be the big one, which will be the May numbers, if they pull those up, which I think will hopefully tell us with tape 2. Should we move on to our next piece of news?
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Again, an interesting little piece, very small one as well here. Which again for True Trophy, it says Life is Strange games gained 75% more PS5 players in Perfect Storm. 2 games in the Life is Strange series are seeing a big PS5 and PS4 player boost thanks to a really well-timed deadline on PS Plus Extra. So as you can see, it's getting Lee Brady there as well, who support. The Life is Strange series has already been enjoying a recent bout of relevancy thanks to the PS5 release of spiritual successor Lost Records Bloom and Rage. That said, the recent Life is Strange PS5 and PS4 player boost for both Life is Strange 2 and spin-off. Well, that's the first time I've seen that as a thing being mentioned. It's not really a spin-off, but as you will. Spin-off True Colors comes from the perfect storm of having increased visibility and having 2 easy platinum trophies that are just about to leave PS Plus. So, as you can see that, using a gameplay data sample from over 3.4 million PSN active users. I love how it's so specific. Literally the same every time with Game Trends. We see a combined 76.7% increase in PS5 and PS4 players checking out these 2 later entries in the Life is Strange series. In particular, Life is Strange 2 saw an 86% increase in active players on PlayStation this last week as players suddenly rushed to check it out. Why the sudden interest in the 2018 sequel and 2021 spin-off, Life is Strange True Colors? I don't really keep calling it spin-off. It's not a spin-off. Well, both the games are due to leave PS Plus's extra game catalog on the Thursday, the 18th of March, 2025. So that goes quite some way to explain the big uptick. After the deadline, PS Plus subscribers will need to buy the games outright if they want to keep playing them. So that's that. And I'm not going to put anything else in here. The Lost Records thing we've covered and the rest of that. But yes, Adam, nice to see a little bit of number bounce. It's not major, it's not like numbers are being sold off that, but I imagine that'll be very happy for Square Enix to see people checking those games out because they probably signed a deal with Sony to put them on the service. One of the usual benefits that you get from PS Plus where these games are being checked out, maybe it's also people being let down by double exposure who have gone over to play them again, be like, I want to play these instead. But yeah, interesting to see those numbers tick up as they have done. Obviously, the article suggests that it's almost like astronomical, but the player count might already be small, so it might just be an uptick because of like it could go from like 10 to like 70, and that could be like that massive percentage increase. So it's not like we got definitive numbers, but nice to see that True Colors and Life is Strange 2 are getting love in 2025.
Yeah, no, I think there's also other reasons why people want to go back to the older Life is Strange games. So maybe some disappointment coming in. I don't know. Perhaps to see like of simpler times when Life is Strange games made sense, but all that stuff. But yeah, good on them. Deadlines get the best of us, and for this one, they got the best of Life is Strange, the best way.
Will you be getting these downloaded to play them again?
I don't have PS Plus, so.
Oh yeah, it's because you're an Xbox.
Yeah, I have Game
Phil
Pass.
Spencer's. Yep. Well, has Phil Spencer got them on Game Pass?
Yeah, he does.
Are they on Game Pass now?
No, they were. But
so you can't download them, can you?
I own them. Either way,
I'm just saying.
can we talk about like a little sidestep here? This is why owning your things is important. Like, again, I don't subscribe to Spotify anymore. I'm trying to own music. All these movies getting taken off of Netflix, games getting taken off of Game Pass and PS Plus. Own your stuff that you enjoy because this crap happens. And it's just like, yeah, no, I am an advocate for owning your crap, man. Owning.
For real. That's also probably a reason why the Lost Records numbers might be down as well on PS Plus, because people are waiting for the PS5 release. Because I've seen a couple of people saying, I'm going to wait for both parts to come out and then download it. It's the same with the Expanse conversation we had. When we were covering the Expanse and StrangeCast, and we were saying like, you were always saying like, it'll look better when it's all out and people can play it collectively. It was like waiting just like for the little slithers of the Telltale-esque style game. And people might just be waiting for both tapes to play them. So numbers could tick up. But yeah, it's nice to see the numbers going up on that. And yeah, I think this is a kind of, again, reflection of PS Plus, where it's like Life is Strange will come and go and leave and stuff. And it's like, own it, man. You can just buy it. You can get it on disc, man. I've got them all on disc as well. So it's like worth getting them as well. For that. So yes, that was just a small piece of news. Adam, next piece of news. This is a tragic piece of news as well. And we kind of mentioned it previously on a different video, but I think we need to talk about it.
Yes.
So this isn't Life is Strange, but it's connected, right? It's connected because we love this game and we want to talk about it as well. So as you can see here, Eurogamer says Netflix calls staff at Oxenfree developer Night School Studio. Unclear how many job losses. So this is on the February the 19th. Tom Phillips put it here as well. Streaming giant Netflix has laid off staff at Oxenfree developer Night School Studio. According to game developer, an unspecified number of workers were told their services were no longer required last month, which came as a shock to the indie game company. Netflix declined to comment on the report. Best known for its Oxenfree... Yo, that's not mine. Best known for its Oxenfree games, Night School Studios was bought by Netflix in 2021 as part of streaming giant's ongoing plans to expand into the interactive entertainment. Night School Studios' first game, Oxenfree, was acclaimed upon its launch in 2016. The side-scrolling narrative adventure story featured a group of teens caught up in some creepy sci-fi shenanigans and received praise for its dialogue and atmosphere. The studio's 2019 follow-up After Party about a character who tried to best Satan in a drinking game did not seem to hit the same level of recognition. In 2023,
I have words
Night School
about
Studio
After Party too. Yeah. Yeah.
In 2023, Night School Studio returned to Oxenfree with direct sequel Oxenfree II Lost Signals, which was well received. It's currently unclear what Night School Studio is working on next, though today's report states that the company's layoffs will not change its product pipeline. Yes, and then there's just some other piece about Netflix, etc. So, Adam, yes, big news. I know you love Night School Studio as well, especially more than me, at least, as well, because you're a huge Oxenfree fan. How did you take this news?
It's a damn shame, which again, if you haven't played After Party 2, the frame rates are significantly bad, dude. I still think it's a good game. I feel like, okay, shout out to After Party, get it on sale because yes, the frame rates are kind of yikes, dude. Still a great game. Yeah, this reminds me of when HBO or Warner Brothers, I don't know who ultimately made the call because Warner Brothers and HBO are like one with each other. They're just capitalism loving each other, if you know what I mean. Bathroom stall loving with capitalism. But this reminds me of when they canceled Sesame Street. They canceled when they canceled Sesame Street because it wasn't giving the right streaming numbers, right? It's not profitable. Who are you to cancel Sesame Street? This is an American icon. This is a global icon. And you just say, oh, it's not profitable enough, so we're just going to cancel Sesame Street. It was insane at the time. It still is insane because it was on the public broadcasting. It had no right to be bought up by Warner. And then it just once it was bought up, then it just canceled it. This kind of reminds me of that. Because I'm not trying to say that Night School is on the same level as Sesame Street. Out loud, anyway. But, of course, Netflix brings them up, and I'm happy because, oh, good. Night School Studios gets the funding. They get to be a real studio now. They get to be a certified gaming studio. And then, of course, corporations do corporation stuff because we're in late stage capitalism. It's I can't, the numbers don't match up. So we're going to lay off the people that were fished up. And it's just nobody asked you to buy Night School. Was I pleased to hear it? I'm not going to say that it wasn't. But what I am saying is that when corporations buy you, they have every right to, kill you off. I'm going to say that right now. It's hard for me to tell indie studios to hey, deny any purchasing. Don't let any big corporation purchase you. But in this economy and the way indie games just fall flat without getting any recognition, I don't blame indie studios from getting purchased. But at the same time, this stuff happens and it sucks. I hate late stage capitalism because it's awful to be in,
Yeah, you're at the mercy now because that dream of being an independent studio, when you made Fez or you made Papers, Please or Limbo, that was for example, when Tarantino went and made Reservoir Dogs, in terms of just getting a camcorder, renting it out, and going making the film.
Which now I'm gonna interrupt you on that with Papers, Please. It's because of the independence that Lucas Pope got from Papers, Please that we got Obra Dinn. And if you've not played Obra Dinn, that game, if it came out with any other studio, it would have been cut, dude. It is a wild trip. But it's because of Lucas Pope's independence, that he was able to make something so massively creative to make Obra Dinn. But yeah, you just reminded me of Papers, Please.
No, it's a fair point to be made because those kind of things don't happen now because it's even for example with Life is Strange, for example, and Deck 9. Deck 9's caveat is that it can own it has a contract with Square Enix. Square Enix owns the IP. They'll take the brunt if sales don't do well. And it's like they can survive in terms of like being under a big publisher. And a lot of these teams fall under it. For example, Night School Studio, like they're at the mercy of Netflix. Netflix will cut people because if they don't start expanding to the gaming division as they're implying to, they're going to start whacking people down. And it's a shame because Oxenfree and Oxenfree II are great games as well. 10 years ago, they might have had the same Life is Strange effect. Again, industry has changed. Things have changed. We've seen it with Lost Records, for example. We did that entire small video about saying, is it a genius or a gamble for it to be on PS Plus?
Yeah.
We just talked about the numbers there as well. If you were going to relate it to the numbers back then, that other topic, it's like, actually, it was a gamble there. It might not have paid off, but we still have a second tape, so it's a different story. But with Night School Studio, it's just a shame to see them in that state as well. And the worst part as well is, depending on who's being laid off as well, some of these other studios don't have the financial powers to bring those people into their studios. Because, for example, imagine if writers got laid off at like Night School Studio, if they did, hypothetically speaking, get them into Deck 9, man. It'd be great to have them there. It's like kind of add that flavor, or, you know, different people like to move around. But all studios are like laying off people. There's like no one safe in the industry. Warner Bros. Closed Monolith, didn't they? And it's like, you know, everyone we'll just lock the Nemesis system behind until it was at 2036 or something. Like they've locked it behind the wall.
I hate
like,
Warner so much, dude.
Yeah,
they suck, dude. Yeah,
I think as well. Funnily enough, as well, like when you like look at the scale of like late stage capitalism, you look like Bob Iger at Disney, and look at like Bobby Kotick at Activision at one point. Sometimes you think like, are you like were they as bad as these other people? Like, for example, Warner Bros. Don't get anywhere near as much smack as EA do, for example. I think Warner Bros. Is as bad as EA at times. And it showed with that story that happened. It's like, I'm not having, but that's what I mean. Like, they shut down all those kind of things there. It's like they're laying off jobs. And it's like the climate is so bad at the moment. That's like, I always say to people, it's like when Michel put that tweet out saying, you know, if you played Lost Records, give us a review and rate us and stuff. Do it, man. Independence is important. Think about StrangeCast. We've taken 4 years for anyone to listen to us. Some people still listen to us. Some people laugh at us. We laugh at you. But it's the simple fact is, it's like we took time to establish something. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's still not a success. Like, I would never think that StrangeCast is ever a success in any way, shape, or form. But like, in terms of Night School Studio, it's a shame to see it as it is, because they've got something working. Probably, hopefully, Oxenfree free. God, that's a mouthful. Oxenfree Part 3, let's call it that. But I was just disappointed to see that, because I love Oxenfree. I love Oxenfree 2. I got those recommendations from you, and then we've kind of talked about them on podcasts and like generally recommending them to other people. And I think if you love Life is Strange, you love Oxenfree as well. So it's just a shame to see that. So our heart goes to the people at Night School Studio. Adam, next piece.
Yes.
And I'm going to take this a little bit of a deviation here, because this just popped up in my notifications. And I need to share it with you. So
what's that?
Inserted as a Saturday the 1st of March news topic has just come in. Life is Strange Double Exposure Deluxe Edition and Life is Strange True Colors Ultimate Edition is on sale 60% on PlayStation Store until 12th of March.
God dang it, dude.
It is there.
God dang it.
It is there. I dare to think what the replies are on here. Is my screen still changing?
Yeah, it's still changing.
This is going to be something. They've got 4 replies in. Who's getting on StrangeCast?
Let's go. That's wild.
We will get 4 replies. I imagine the dunking will go as further. Yes, it is on sale, guys. If you have missed this, Life is Strange is on sale. Pew, 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 pew.
Jeez, dude. Like, yeah, no, but another Life is Strange game is coming out soon with the whole eyeball thing. With what, dude? With what? I don't know. We'll see.
God. Right. Should we move into our other pieces of news then? I just want to insert that as it is. I'm going to have to quickly try and pull these up separately to see if I got the right one here. Is that one? Yes. Oh, yes. First attempt that worked for me there. So we're moving into our piece of news, which is a really cute one as well here. Obviously, the Xbox ID showcase happened, and we got a reveal of the new Don't Nod game that's coming out. So here's a press release that says, Don't Nod, an independent video game developer and publisher, development studio. I'm not going to read all that. Don't Nod is pleased to reveal the Lonesome Guild at Xbox IGN Fan Fest. The Lonesome Guild is a top-down, single-player action RPG all about friendship and connection, developed by Turin-based Tiny Bull Studio and published by Don't Nod. The game is slated to release in fall of 2025 on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. reveal trailer was released. We'll pull that up in a second. In the Lonesome Guild, a single player action RPG. You play as Ghost, a spirit with no memories in a world consumed by loneliness. As a creeping mist spreads, corrupting all in its path, you must gather a ragtag party of 6 misfits, each with unique abilities, struggles, stories, and struggle. I can't read it on white background. Don't nod. But give me a dark screen here, each with unique abilities, stories, and struggles. Seamlessly switch between them in breathtaking battles and captivating explorations, forging strong bonds that unlock power combos and heartfelt moments by the campfire. With dynamic combat, puzzle solving, and a world brimming with secrets, the Lonesome Guild is a tale of friendship, hope, and strength found in togetherness. God, on my dark mode, don't nod, please. Anyway, you had Simone Pellegrini, producer at Tiny Ball Studio. He says here, and I quote, "From the beginning, the Lonesome Guild has been a story about connection. We want to create an ARPG that stands out, where relationships aren't just part of the story, but a key component woven into the gameplay itself. We can't wait to share more details about the world of Itera." I would say that's
Itera, I guess. Yeah.
Itera. I think, yeah. And it's cool for characters, end quote. So as you can see, it's available there. So this was one of the big pieces of news that was revealed from Don't Nod, and I'm going to quickly pull this up here as well because you can just see it whilst we talk about it. Scroll down there. There it is.
Yeah.
It was revealed at the Xbox Showcase. There's a trailer playing in the background, which is quite nice. Exciting though. Adam, have you watched this trailer?
Yes, I have, and I feel like this could be a Game Pass game for sure.
Yeah.
Because again, Jusant, I believe Jusant was shown at an ID and Xbox showcase. I believe I know it was shown at an Xbox event. And Donut has partnered up with Game Pass in the past. So yeah, I can see this coming out to Game Pass as well. I don't think they'll announce it now because they want people to like pre-order it, of course. But
for sure.
No, it looks very cute. Like I like it. Yeah.
Mr. Fox just put his hands in his pockets. Can you see it there? Look at him. He is a chilled guy. Look at him do it in the video. Watch. Oh, just play the music.
Oh God!
As you can see there, look, he put his hand. He is a chilled.
What happened to the chill guy meme? Like that just kind of died off.
I know.
Like, it really did.
Yeah. I got it replied to me on one of my tweets as well, and I was like, "This is such a great reference." Come back, I was like, "Mr. Fox is a chilled guy." There, as you can see. No, it's very cool. It looks very artistically. I've seen it. I think it's on Steam wishlist now available. Yeah, the wishlist is available there. It looks cutesy. I think you're right as well. It'd be nice to put this on Games Pass. It'd be nice to put it on PS Plus if they could as well, in terms of like a launch. If there's a deal to be done with Sony, but at the same time, it's a nice title. This for me appeals to me more than Koira. I don't know what it is. It might just be my kind of thing, personally speaking. I'm not throwing shades at Koira. I'm just saying this is something that kind of caught me a bit more with the art style, everything else with it. I just thought it was actually quite like nice as a game, and like the gameplays as well. It looks pretty like looks like one of those like little gems, if anything. It's a shame it's not on Nintendo Switch, man.
I was just thinking that this is definitely a Switch game, and it's kind of unfortunate it's not coming to Switch. I would definitely play this on my Switch. Yeah,
it's just annoying that it's not on Switch like that. It just feels like one of those games that's built for Nintendo Switch. But generally speaking, I really dig it, actually. I want to follow this a little bit more. I'm kind of interested to see what actually plays out, but it sounds like something that I would play. It looks like an Adnan game, which is a big endorsement, if anything. It doesn't usually happen that way.
I tried to wishlist it and gave me the French Xbox site.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add to that, but I'm interested to see it. We'll keep you up to date with it as well. Adam, should we move into our next piece of news?
Absolutely.
So, Adam, I'm going to quickly change this as well whilst you're talking to me, and we were going to do this afterwards. Let's move to Koira first, because I think it makes a bit more sense to do Koira at this point. Because then we could talk about the other subject, which will be much more bigger in terms of the conversation. As you can see here, another press release as well. Don't Nod posted. We just lost the press release. There it is. Don't Nod posted here as well. It says, Don't Nod, a Studio Tolima's Koira is to release in early April 2025, 1st of April. So Don't Nod is pleased to announce that Koira, a wholesome adventure game developed by Belgian studio Tolima, will launch on April 1st, 2025 to weeks early. Koira, published by Don't Know, will launch on PC and Steam and PlayStation 5 at €17.99, $17.99 with 10% launch discount. In addition, there will be support the dev bundle, which includes 5 pieces of concept art that can be used as wallpapers, which is quite nice as a launch trailer as well. I'll pull that up in a moment. Steam Next Fest, the demo of Koira is currently available as part of Steam's Next Fest, a celebration of upcoming games with demos, developers live streams, and chats, which run until 3rd of March. A live stream with developers Ben Ligar, founder and director, and Sander Van Hove, lead game dev and tech artist, will air throughout the event, giving players the chance to gain some behind-the-scenes knowledge, insights, and a sneak peek of what happens in the game after the demo ends. Players can continue to play the demo until March 10th. So just a little update there on Koira as it is, and I'll pull it up here as well because we've got it under tweet is here. Here it is. There it is. Well, Koira now coming out in early April, if anything. So we have been pulled ahead with a nice little trailer as well for people to enjoy. So yes, Adam as well. Let me just get context because Koira was meant to come out in mid-April. And obviously, Lost Records Bloom and Rage's second tape was delayed because the second tape was meant to come out on the 18th of March. Has now been pushed back to April 15th. I believe Koira was meant to come out on the 17th of April. And I previously said that Koira would not see that release date. Now, I said that we'd see it in the future. I didn't think they'd pull it ahead, which is a bit
I didn't think it would be ahead. That means it's like, it's ready to go. And, don't not sound like, well, why delay it all the way to June when we could just release it earlier? So fair play on Donut's time.
Yeah, which is a fair point for them as well. They're externally developing, like externally publishing this game with Tolima, yes, with Tolima. And it's like, for them, it makes no sense to maybe push it back if the game's already done, and they can just ramp up the marketing now. And in itself as well, I said this before, I couldn't see Lost Records' second tape being marketed whilst doing this game, because it's like that second tape is so important for Donut to get numbers on it and to get people looking at it. And if I was Tolima, I would be like, why is my game getting overshadowed by Lost Records? I want my game to be in its own window, even if that game's not going to move the needle in sales, and it's a smaller game. People still want their game to be put in a window where it's like fairly decent. So I think, naturally speaking, when I look at the window, I think that's an okay window for them to be, in as well for the early April. So I'm happy with them to do that. And Koira is a game that I'm looking to pick up, hopefully, especially because it's on PlayStation 5. Where's your Xbox version, Adam?
I will be playing it on my PC Master Race here.
Where's your Xbox? Where's Phil?
It is kind of weird how this is also a game not coming to Switch or Xbox.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I've heard stories about Xbox development kit being a lot more friendly to make games on.
That's what I mean. I'm like, there's got to be. Here's my thing. What if they are trying to separate themselves from Xbox? Because now we have Lost Records having a PlayStation deal. Now we have Koira only coming out on PlayStation and PC, of course. And then, Tiny Bull's Lonesome Gill is coming to Xbox, but it's just interesting how.
Where was it announced?
What's that? Yeah,
where
it was announced. It's so weird how separated each game is. Like, one's going to an Xbox showcase, another one is only on PlayStation, another one's only getting a PlayStation physical release. It's weird to me, like, how separate they are within the same kind of studio. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like, I'll play it on PC. I won't be playing it day one because I will be moving into my new place on April 1st. So, kind of sucks for me. But yeah, no, it is kind of weird how separate these releases are.
Yeah, they're picking and choosing. So, like, Tiny Bull's game was revealed at the ID Xbox Showcase, and then like they've Lost Records was at State of Play, and then last year Lost Records was at the ID Xbox Showcase in the summer window. They did the low-fi trailer.
Gerda also is not on Xbox, if I'm correct.
It's on Switch. I'm waiting for it.
It's on Switch. It's on Switch only. Switch and PC. That's it. It's so weird that it's like this. I don't know.
When don't I be dropping a big price tag on discount on Koira, non Koira and Gerda, I'll be picking up on Switch when they drop the
Yeah.
price in like a sale, I'm gonna be like, yoink, I'm gonna take it.
It's
I'm
been
just
on
waiting for
sale
this.
twice since you got your Switch.
How's it again?
Yeah.
Or is
It
that
was
just
on sale
American?
again. What's that?
Or is that just is that? I did have it wish listed. I didn't see
Yeah.
anything there.
Yeah, it
Let me
was
quickly
on
double check
sale
this.
like since you've gotten your Switch. Twice.
It wasn't there. Oh, actually, is it down? It's on sale again.
Yeah.
No,
It's
not
always on sale.
Not here.
Oh, dang
It's
it.
American there for you to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like £18 at the moment here. I will wait until the right opportunity comes for me because I'm broke as well. So yeah, interesting nonetheless. We will be keeping you up to date with Koira because I'm interested to see how that game plays out. I've only heard good things about it so far. Adam, should we go into our next piece of news? This is a big one as well.
Definitely.
This is the big one. So again, we're going back to the Don't Nod press release. I'm going to try and read this closer before I go crazy. So Adam, a big update from Don't Nod. So as you can see here, on the 26th of February, progress on Don't Nod's reorganization outlook. So Don't Nod is providing an update on its reorganization project announced on the 16th of October 2024. So, for context, if people don't know, the organization project was announced last year. It was to lay off up to 69 people potentially as part of Don't Nod's restructuring. They suspended production line on 2 games. Jusant's assets were written down. Banish's assets were written down. They've changed the focus on 2 of the games to kind of make them a more wider audience appealing. But also at the same time, the French union, the STJV, has been hitting Don't Know with strikes repeatedly. It's been it was ruthless in January when we covered it. I think there was like 5 days of strikes repeatedly. So a lot of this is kind of building off that. So as you can see here, after several weeks of constructive dialogue as part of the information consultation procedure with the employee representative bodies and negotiations with the union representing the company's employees, a majority collective agreement has been reached with the company, covering notably the employment protection plan and a voluntary redundancy plan. This agreement has been validated by the Labour administration. Faced with deteriorating financial results in an industry that has become much more competitive and selective, Don't Nod has decided to adopt and implement this reorganization project through various economic measures, rationalizing the number of production lines in France to higher value added projects, P10 and P14, to be completed before the end of 2027. Resizing teams primarily through a voluntary redundancy plan as part of an employment protection plan. Ultimately, and subject to effective voluntary redundancies, 58 economic redundancies could go ahead. 10 departures not replaced since the announcement. This plan, essential to assuring Don't Nod's competitive and sustainability, is expected to reduce operating expenses by approximately 5 million euros over a year and avoid external costs of approximately 5 million euros. In addition, the measures outlined in this project to result in non-current expenses of approximately 2.6 million euros, with more than 90% to be provisionized in the financial statements for the end year of December 31st, 2024. Don't Nod is now focused on the implementation of its reorganization project, which includes high-quality individual support measures. So as you can see, the business plan here as well. Amid significant changes in the video game market, Don't Nod is committed to building a new organization to address economic difficulties while acquiring the structural and organizational means to ensure its competitiveness to prepare in the future. The business plan, which is in line with market realities, is based on key guidelines. These are interesting here. Strengthening the role of editorial committee to better meet market and players' expectations. Aligning technologies to support greater sharings of skills and knowledge and better appropriation of market tools to increase efficiency. Optimizing project management through tighter measure controls. This is a big one. Securing production finances through a mixed business model. The company may also consider external collaborations on existing successful intellectual properties owned by partners, thereby securing the related economic benefits. I said this before with Life is Strange and Deck 9, for example. Don't Nod aims to regain the more reorganizational agility while maintaining its identity characterized by a strong narrative component and narrative acclaim. And
Yes.
Oscar Gobert said there as well, and I quote, "I would like to thank all the stakeholders," thank you, Oscar, I love you as well, "who have contributed to this necessary plan, however demanding it may be. Our responsibility is twofold. to support our effective employees with dignity and respect, giving priority to voluntary redundancies while remaining fully committed to building sustainability for our company. We are confident we will rise to this challenge. A new chapter in Don't Nod's history is being written, and we rely on professionalism and determination of our teams to be part of it. End quote. So that's it. So basically, in a nutshell, Adam, as well, and this is kind of a wrapping up a big part of our news that we've been covering for a long period of the cycle. As you can see here, I pulled up as well the STJV on that data also as well, which is a French union, said their struggle pays a deal was found with Don't Nod. I'm not going to read all the way through it, but they outlined a lot of the details in here, including certain parts as well, which includes the voluntary reductions that happened. I think in here as well that they said that people would be covered for the days that they missed in 2025. So during those 5 days of strikes, for example, they've covered the costs of that. So no day of strike was followed between 13th of January 17 was cut from one's salary. So their salary is kept intact for that. But again, a lot of this was in part of this. And yes, it's quite a lot of bits. I'm not going to go through all of it because, again, I'll just be repeating what Don't Know has already put out in a press release. But you've seen this as well. The circus is this circus is done.
Huh.
Like the STG, we're not messing around here. We said that about Don't Nod. We also said it about the industry as a whole. This circus is done. And like, that was a bit of a statement. Adam, obviously some big pieces there, because this is kind of a culmination of us covering this period, which has been layoffs, strikes, potential layoffs that are going to happen. For Don't Nod, a complete directional change in certain respects as well. I was wondering what you're thinking, and then also more so that part where Oscar Gilbert, or at least the Don't Nod, has said that the production lines are changing, where it's like we might consider external publishers for certain properties.
I thought you were going to say, like, what did you think about Oscar Gilbert thanking the stakeholders and the shareholders of that? I'm like, it's a lot of words. I will put it that way. It's a lot of business terms, but no, I think this has a lot to do with the world economics as a whole. Right now we are having a shift in climate with the entirety of world politics. So, unfortunately, when people are looking at the STJV, correct? STJV.
Yes.
When they're putting up this fight, and then you might be thinking like, well, why is it going on for this long? It's just because unionization in the entire global scale doesn't work in the same way as it did 10 years ago, even. So it goes on for a long battle, and plus, Don't Nod has to be profitable as well. And in this turn of economic climate in the gaming industry, they also have to come to an agreement. And that's why we're seeing just like a lot of convoluted details going on with like the unionization here. Now, what do I think about Oscar Gilbert, going to other studios and like getting support? Not new. It's not new. Like that's the thing with like certain gaming industries. I mean, technically speaking, Square Enix also has gone on to other studios to make their Life is Strange games, i.e. Deck 9. So this isn't a new thing, but for Don't Nod especially, I think it is new. I think Don't Nod is just trying to stick around for the next decade. So they need to make decisions to make production lines, because again, in this economy, I had to go over this again. In this economy, they can't just have a one-time purchase. It has to be a consistent flow of economy, a consistent flow of revenue. So, of course, if they can get a consistent flow of revenue, my prediction is I think you're going to be seeing a Don't Nod published mobile game that will have microtransactions, so they can have that flow of revenue, and that other studio that you're going to see that they're going to bring in to make an outside source might be a Don't Nod mobile game. That's my prediction.
Or do you mean a Don't Nod developed game?
Don't Nod.
In the press release, they're saying that they're willing to work on other IPs. So they're willing to become a developer for publishers.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. No, I was reading that incorrectly.
So it means that they're willing to go and work on like Call of Duty if they need to, because they're willing to work on an established IP.
Again, it's a flow of revenue. Like you're going to see something that you don't agree with as a gamer, but you're going to have to see something work in terms of revenue for a company.
Which what you're saying as well previously before that also works, which is the fact that you could see Don't Nod games with microtransactions in them because the publisher would make that decision, where they make the decision that Don't Nod makes the game, but they want to include, for example, cat content or something in that vein, depending on the publisher. That is a real possibility. Survival instincts have kicked in, not just for Don't Nod, but for every studio, every development studio. We've talked about this for the entire podcast in both the episodes. It's like, for example, Deck 9 has that Life is Strange contract, and it's so valuable to them. It's invaluable because the studio can operate as it is, and it won't take the brunt of the damage. So it's the same with Banishers, for example. Whilst assets were written down by Don't Nod, Focus took the big hit because Focus published the game. So Don't Nod doesn't have to necessarily worry about the bigger, larger implications, necessarily speaking. With this as well, Don't Nod has published how many games is it? 7 or so in the last 3 or 4 years?
Ooh.
Or developed and published? Like Twin Mirror,
7?
Harmony, Jusant. Yeah.
I want to get the exact number here.
I think about how many games they published in the last 3 or 4 years. And the marketing that's been behind them. Has any of them been major hit? Not a single one so far.
Oh, recently. We're not talking about Life is Strange, right?
No, we're talking about the recent run. Like last 3 or 4 years, they published about 7 games. Made and published. So they made 5 of them at least.
So we're not talking about Tell Me Why, right? We're talking about recently. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Lonesome Guild will be 8.
So 8 games. 2 of them aren't out yet. So Lonesome Guild and
Koira and Lonesome Guild are not out. So we're talking about Twin Mirror. We're talking about Gerda, Banishers, Harmony, Jusant, Koira, Lost Records, and the Lonesome Guild.
One of those is published by an external studio, external publisher, Banishers, right?
Banishers, yep.
Take that out and then look at how many games there are out now. How many is it? 6 there?
Yes. 5? Or no, you're looking at 7. Wait, yeah, because so 7 games published by Don't Nod.
And how many have been a financial hit or a major hit?
Well, I'm gonna say since they froze production on 2 games right before Lost Records came out, we're gonna say that none of them were. Yeah, no, like you said, this is the same kind of survival instincts when they hit Remember Me, and Remember Me almost crashed the company. So and unfortunately they're in the same place, and I said it before, it sucks that Michel Koch is in the same position as he was 10 years ago, that he has to save a company with his game
with a landscape that's changing constantly, and with an industry that doesn't necessarily like these games in the same style, because there's nothing against those games and the qualities of them, i.e. Jusant, i.e. Banishers. It's more about the actual getting out to a wider scale marketing, getting them out to people who want to play these games. And Lost Records is only half of it, but this is why there's a bit of concern in terms of the PS Plus numbers, for example, and the Steam numbers, because you need them to be higher to keep things flow. This is a company with 350 people. Prior to any of these layoffs happening, it's about 350 plus people. That's massive for Don't Nod, for a French company as well. That size of it, and in itself as well. My belief as well with what he's doing here, Oscar Gilbert, and making the idea that they can go and work on other IPs from other publishers. Don't Nod for me always tries to remind me of a studio of trying to be like Quantic Dream. So Quantic Dream has been able to seek its own independence. Detroit just passed 11 million sales, for example. And it's a big hit for them, that game. They've been able to sustain success for a long time, Quantic Dream, and even after PlayStation, because obviously Heavy Rain was PS3 exclusive. They worked a long time with PlayStation, but then they were able to kind of move away, and they started to move games onto other platforms and stuff. For me, Quantic Dream has been that studio that's been able to kind of hold itself out of that realm of it. Don't Nod has not been able to do that. So any of the games they've published have struggled. The marketing has been weak. They produced loads of games, i.e. Tolima and Koira and Tiny Ball's game. All great. It's nice to see them publishing these little games, but at the same time, they need something to move the needle because they're a publicly listed company. They trade on a stock market. They have investors, and they need to show for this as well, because last 3 or 4 years, all they've done is scale up R&D costs, scale up, make a new studio in Canada, bring people in, work on these projects, and nothing's really cut it yet. So it's like for them, maybe they need to like move that way. It's like those two projects that they have in production at the minute, and they're like, oh, we'll make them into a bit more wider scale, where it's like people who aren't niche in a genre that might appeal to them, and it'll benefit them as well. So it's like they might actually have to do what Deck 9 did. It's like, oh, actually, we'll go and work with Telltale, and we'll do the Expanse, or we'll go and work with like EA, and we'll work with them on X game instead, and try and do something that's a little bit within their wheelhouse of genre games. They've done it before. You know, Vampire, Banishes, it's happened. They just need to sell a success. So from what I took in the press release, it makes sense. I don't think it's Vampire 2, and I don't think it's like Life is Strange, because like in itself as well, there's one thing that I picked up here, just to kind of bring it into the podcast. It's the same press release, right? But it's the French version, and just the language has changed. But in here as well, it says so you have the production lines thing you change there, and then down here it says there, look, securing production financing based on a mixed economic model. The company could also consider external collaborations on existing successful intellectual properties held by partners and whose economic products would be secured. So they're like, basically, it's just like, we'll work with anyone, essentially. So it feels like doing games developers conference, go and they'll pitch to someone, be like, EA, if you got something, we might try and apply for that contract. We'll take that contract, we'll work in the game. It's an established IP. We just do the bits for it, which makes sense. Don't needs to do this, man. They can't rely on that bank of games what they've been doing, and it's aged like a fine wine for me, because I said recently on the one of the Lost Records Journal episodes or recent video, where I said it might actually make sense for Don't to strike a deal with PlayStation and be like, be a publisher for us, but just for the PlayStation side of things. So publish the game on PS Plus. We won't release it as a physical release for that time being, but you have exclusive rights to launch the game on PS Plus at launch, but we can put it on other platforms as well at the same time. So do you like that kind of deal that they have at the minute? Work something a bit more ahead of time and do that. It might come down to that. As much as I love Don't Nod, and this is an important conversation to have as well, because it's an unfortunate conversation to have. Because Adam has always said as well, it's late stage capitalism. We're at where we're at, and ultimately, I have to say as well, like, it might have to be the business strategy where Don't Nod starts getting into bed with different publishers to make games, because that's where we're at right now. They're all at the mercy of it. Deck 9 is down from 200 plus employees down to 100 after what? 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
But at the height of the True Colors
3
success,
years.
they're making the Expanse. Yeah, 3 years, man. And Don't Nod, again, 350 employees. If this doesn't turn around, for example, the studio could end up with 200 employees.
This is going on game companies that saw the 2020 numbers where everybody was locked in and playing games, and they're like, oh, this is going to last forever. Like, again, I said this before, this is happening to the skateboarding industry, because skateboarding was on the up and up in 2020 because you need something to occupy yourself. And they said, oh, this is going to last forever. And it's just, it won't. So they just overproduced, overemployed, and now we're seeing like really bad or really bad repercussions, because some people thought this would last forever, and putting people's lives at stakes, like families at stakes.
They're not alone for it though as well, because all tech companies have done it. Meta, Microsoft, all the major tech companies are doing it, and now they're downscaling because they've got real estate, they've got all this other stuff, and they're like, actually, the world's gone back to normal. I.e., it was always going to go back to normal in some stage. And it's the same with this decision as well. It's like with the gaming boom, they didn't factor in that people will start tagging off, because it's like, actually, they need to go back to work and work full time, and then things get more expensive, etc., etc. So that press release in itself, the best thing that's happened so far is that the STJV strikes are over, which is what was needed, because we're now in March and you need to upscale the marketing on Lost Records Bloom and Rage and get it out to people, get them to enjoy it. And then secondly, the thing that makes me feel more reassured is they're willing to work with other publishers on games and even established IPs and not create their own ideas. Because, like, for example, Michel's like a creative hub and he has like great ideas for the Lost Records, and Canada should be fine as it is, that studio. But it's like, in Paris, they made like Jusant, which is a really colourful, nice game, but did it sell the numbers? No, it was even more ultra niche than Life is Strange. So it's like, they need like a team to go and work on an established IP and be like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
we got some financial capital here. Someone else is dealing with the publishing. We'll get the game out. If it's a success, massive thanks. It's going to be on the financial earnings. It can be in the royalties catalog with Life is Strange and Vampire. It's natural. I do think that, unfortunately, in some respects, because of where the climate is at right now, I don't know how much Don't Nod's independence will last forever. I really do question it, and it's not. I would love it, because obviously I would love for Don't Nod to make their own games, because we've seen what's happened with Life is Strange. We've seen what's happened with Deck Nine and Square Enix and other studios as well. It's not just them, it's other publishers and stuff. I just worry about it, man. If Warner Bros. Is slicing off Monolith, for example, how is Don't Nod going to survive in the industry? Because everyone, the reaction I saw to that news when Schreier broke it, right? People were like upset by it, and it shows as well, because like, why are you shutting the studio, which has created this fantastic idea of the Nemesis system, and you can license it out to other people. Don't Nod needs that kind of opportunity. If they can create something, it's like, oh, actually, we could license that off to other people, and it might actually help us. So be like a 70-30% split. So you have 30% independence or 40%, and 60-70% working with a publisher or something. It might be the future. I'm just saying it in the sense that if you want to have 350 plus employees, this could come at a cost where it's like these things have to be made. The decisions are being made from the higher brass. And whether you agree or not with it, this is an important conversation to be had, because it shows with Lost Records at the minute, which is struggling to gain a wider audience. It's still getting numbers in, which is great, and I hope it keeps getting them as well. We will always support that. But it's like, you even see Michel putting a comment out saying, if you enjoy the game, please rate on a storefront from us. Because it's like, even he knows his resources are limited. He's game development, Michel. He's not marketing. He's not doing the other stuff.
Yeah.
An important conversation to be had, though. So, yeah, we will keep you up to date with that. But I don't think there's anything else to be added with that. I think I'm just kind of happy that they've resolved the union strike and we were done with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Last piece of news?
Yeah,
last two quickly. So this is a new interview that's just been published, and Michel has just come out while we're recording. There are spoilers in this article, guys, but we're not going to cover them, if anything, because we are going for a certain section on this, which I've just completely missed. We're going to go to the Switch section. We will cover other parts of this article in the Lost Records Journal, which will come up next in the following week. But I thought we'd just bring up the Switch part, because I wanted to talk to Adam about it. So Michel was asked here, any plans to port the game to Switch or Switch 2? This is an interview with CBR. And Michel said here, we should never say never. And I don't want to answer for the tech people of our team, but I'm pretty sure that the memoir mechanic, we definitely cannot make work for Switch. Make on Switch, just for saving videos aspects. Switch 2, I don't know. Personally, I'd love to, but definitely there are no plans for now. I don't know, but I don't know, maybe. If we see that's possible, I'd love to, but I really don't know if it will be possible, because I don't even have all the technical specs, especially for the memoir mechanic. That's really hard. That's really the hard part, because it takes a lot of space on saved games. It needs some power to compute, to encode and save the video in real time when you're playing, which is a bit harder than I think. So I'm going to leave it there for time being. So Adam, spoilers. We're going to put a spoiler tag. No spoiler tag on here. Sorry, it's going to be spoiler free. This, so let's not go into any story elements in itself. Again, this shows like the difficulty of getting the games onto Switch, because, for example, let's use side-by-side examples. Life is Strange is ported by different studios. Engine Software, for example, did the recent port of Life is Strange Double Exposure. You've had Feral Interactive port over Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm onto PC and Linux and whatever else it is. It's hard, development is hard. Even Michel's out there is showing his technical limitations in terms of he is a game developer, but he doesn't handle everything, despite what some people might think. They'll be like, Michel, why is there not like, the Turkish language of this? And Michel's like, I'm just making the game. I don't deal with all the aspects of the game. I don't know why I did Turkish, but I'm giving you an example. It's like, I'm not dealing with all these aspects. It's a shame, because I would love to have it on Switch, because it feels like a game. Again, it feels like a game that is built for Switch. It's a shame that Nintendo doesn't open these routes up more so for third-party publishers to come on their platform, because they definitely would now, considering the success of the Switch.
Well, let's put it this way. I think that's why we're going to see a lot of power coming out of the Switch too. We haven't heard anything. In fact, we're going to see the Switch specs, most likely the specs, on April 2nd during the Nintendo Direct. That's happening on April 2nd. That's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern, I believe. So we're going to see some specs. So when Michel Koch says never say never, two reasons. One, because like you said, he's not a tech person. He's not the tech spec publisher, like the guy on the Donut team. And number two, we don't know the technical specs of the Switch 2. We do know the specs of the current Switch. And let me tell you, that thing chugs when you put something good on that. Fortunately, we have some good we have some good players in the game with The Witcher 3, the Doom port. Like, some great ports came to it, but most ports that go on the Switch 2 are chugging, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we need to know what the Switch 2's capabilities are, and I don't think Don't Nod has that knowledge. I think a lot of bigger publishers and bigger developers know the Switch 2 specs, but I don't think Don't Nod knows. And I think it might be possible, but we don't know. We don't know anything about the Switch 2 yet.
That's their limitations, because if it's not got enough capacity, it's not going to run that memoir mechanic. Because considering how much it's saving and all the files that need to go with it, it's a shame, because this game is built for Switch, man. It feels like, again, some of these games feel like
everybody's shouting in comments, Steam Deck, get a Steam Deck,
which I've heard good things about. I heard someone that I know I've spoken to has had a very good experience so far on Steam Deck. No issues. I think Luke was saying they're trying to make sure it runs compatibly with Steam Deck, and it seems to be running really well with it, which is quite like that. I was actually, this is fantastic. So maybe that is the thing.
I think that's what the Switch 2 is kind of trying to be, is a Steam Deck. I mean, we see mouse capabilities. I don't know if you noticed that. They're like the Joy-Cons can become a mouse essentially. So I don't know. I think it is made for Switch. However, they have to wait for the Switch 2, because this thing in its later stages, man, you can see the age, especially when we saw the images from Pokemon Z to A. And you haven't even touched Arceus yet.
No, I haven't. I've got it, but I haven't touched it yet.
Oh, that thing. It's a fun game, but it chugs. It chugs, dude. Oh, it chugs, dude. But yeah, that's the Switch capabilities. It's all it has to do with Switch capabilities. That's all it is.
Yeah, I hope one day, and I hope that they find some publisher that could do it and port it over there. But obviously, again, this is going to rely on Nintendo. Nintendo should beef up that console as well, because I think if they gave it enough capacity to run the games, it's just Nintendo, isn't it? Because they're also why do we need to work with third parties as well? Because technically they get.
Let's look at the history of Nintendo. Going back to the N64, the N64 when that came out was a beast coming out. It had the graphics back in the day. Even GameCube, it wasn't a commercial seller, but that thing was a monster in terms of the capabilities it could do. They were at one point, they were on the cutting edge of technology. And I would even say I'm going to argue the Wii forward, they just kind of dropped the technical capabilities that Nintendo can do. They have a history, but they've just neglected it. Yeah. I do believe, and I'll say this right now, I do believe that when you see that Switch 2 presentation, we're going to see the technical capabilities of what Nintendo can do.
Yeah.
I do believe that, because again, I told you off podcast, I tried to play Disco Elysium on the Switch port. Dude, oh my God, that thing is just, it crashed. It lost my save file. It chugged. The loading screens were bad. But that's what I mean. I think Nintendo has neglected their history in terms of technical capabilities. That's I think we're going to see again. I really do think that.
I hope so, because I did rewatch a recent video about the 3DS, and it was explaining that they offered a lot of support to third parties, but then third parties abandoned it very quickly because they realized how limited the 3DS was. So it's
the 3DS, the Wii U, yeah.
Because Nintendo needs to keep the power going on the console, because they want people to keep using it, and their games aren't as massively mind blowing graphics. But I just wish it had a bit more third party support, because it could probably blow out PlayStation and Xbox a bit more in terms of out of the water. But it feels like it needs to be uplifted a little bit more in terms of power, just to give games like This Bed We Made or Lost Records, or these kind of games, a bit more momentum, if anything, to do it. That's the main thing. So let's see what happens. I hope that Nintendo Switch 2 is announced, and then also the Council 2 is announced as its first day one game. That's the dream as well. I dream about those days as well. Adam,
Is that studio still around?
Big Bad. I don't
Yeah.
actually know. I should really look them up as well. I remember speaking to the director who made the game, Sylvian Sachi, I think his name was, when I did an interview with him.
They are still around.
Yes.
And
Respect to Big Bad Wolf.
They are making Vampire the Masquerades. So that's them.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yes, Big Bad Wolf. I will always
It's
represent
just those
you.
2 games, The Council and then Vampire. What the heck?
Do you know what? If I was offered the chance to go work at Don't Nod or Big Bad, I'd be like, that would be the most difficult decision of my entire life. That's my sacrifice Arcadia Bay versus Arcadia Bay decision. That's like the biggest decision I would ever have in my life with those two
How are
rings.
they still in business?
Don't you put slander on Big Bad Wolf. Respect.
Yeah, but like
Respect.
Donut is struggling with like 8 games.
Because Big Bad Wolf is Big Bad Wolf. That's why they will come over and blow your house down like the Big Bad Wolf. Right?
That's so weird.
Do not question them. Adam, last 2 pieces very quickly as well. And this is one short one. And this is a big statement here from the gaffer himself, Michel Koch, as you can see here. He put about Swann Holloway as well. It says, I was not a teenage girl, but Swann is the main character I relate to the most with any game I directed. If you relate with any parts of the game, then it should be about you too. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's a big statement because Michel's related to one character because it means more so than Max. Do you think that as well? Because I 100% think Swann is representative of him as a introvert and a positive introvert as well.
Well, considering that's what he said, I'm going to say that, yes, I think he relates more to her than Max.
Well, I'm just saying, bringing in a conversation here. Michel's already answered the question for us, but I didn't want to bring that in for the listeners as well. This is about a conversation, man. You could dispute and be like, Michel, no, Max is more like you.
Max is more like you because I've never shook the hands, the man of the hands, whatever I'm trying to say. I've never shook his hand before, and yet I know what kind of introvert he is.
When he watches this show, I hope he puts a sticky note over your face whilst he's watching him.
I know Luke does.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you deserve that though. You did the freak bees. That's what you did. You disrespected him on his base, and that is deserved. So the final piece, Adam, as well here. Quick one as well. And I'm going to move this out of the way with Michel's tweet out there. And there it is. So it's Sanshee, models, musicians, and bears. Oh my, throwing some hot dogs, mustards, and gnomes, and you've got a veritable smorgasbord of Life is Strange from across the series waiting for you. But hey, you deserve it. You've worked hard, and now it is time to mustard big. So as you can see there, quite a little number of pieces. And if anything, I'm going to move that out of the way, close that down, and we got the website as well just for you. Indeed.
Pillow plush.
Pull the website up here, Adam. Here it is. Look at it.
Yeah.
You got all the different items. A bit of a plug for Sanshee. I don't know why Don't Nod Entertainment is on some of these because, I don't know why they connected to.
That is interesting, actually. That is very interesting. Yeah.
Deck Knight is just sitting there
what the hell?
What are you guys doing here? But as you can see here, merchandise for your life. We're giving you a bit of a plug here. Stuart, some of these are actually quite cool. I like these pins.
Yo, the 2 whales pin is glow in the dark.
Where are we looking? Oh, yes.
Look at that. It's like a neon glow in the dark.
Max and Chloe both sold out. That's done. You ain't getting those. But as you can see here, you can get your hot dog man pin. You can get look at it. It's just weird seeing Don't Nod and it's like this. It's like, no. It's like, that was no. It's like, come on, Sanshee. That's cool. I love that gnome from True Colors. I would interview that gnome if it had a voice. But as you can see, Alex Chen, respect the Maury, as always. Oh, look at that. Rachel Amber pin has been sold out. Oh, actually, I should really buy something from here before it gets sold out. I feel like it's going to get sold out at some point. But very good. A cool piece of merchandise. Oh, I wish I would have got the Max and Chloe now. She's got a camera. Oh, no. And she's at the bottom. Hang on a minute. Well, that didn't take me anywhere. What happened there?
Yeah.
There we go.
Dang.
She's got... Oh, I missed out. Camera. Oh, wait. It's the pin. Yes, anyway, Sanshee, just ruined my day as well. Thank you for that. We are at the end hurdle, Adam. We've got comment of the day, spread the arts. Should we wrap this up here as we go? Comment of the day from...
I will say this, that the Anthem t-shirts on Sanshee are on clearance for Anthem. Yeah.
There you go. That speaks volumes about
Yeah.
a lot of things. So Adam, quick comment of the day. This is from G Petro 1030, and it's a comment that says, "Hi, I just wanted to share my support and say how much I love this podcast. I hope you guys get all the love and recognition you deserve. Following the release of BNR, which is Bloomer Rage, which is in a few hours. You guys are my favorite Don't Nod / Life is Strange YouTubers, and I watch every episode. So
Are we
thank you
YouTubers?
so much for that." No,
Yes.
I don't consider myself. Trust me, I consider myself a YouTuber and throw myself in the abyss. That's what's going to happen. I am a podcaster and just a annoying person for Don't Nod and Deck 9 and Square Enix. That's who I am. But I appreciate the very kind words because it's really appreciated for how small we are. And we always win you over. That's what happens. You might not like us to start with, but something about us, we just drag you in and you like us. That's what happens. Always happens.
Yes.
Who do you think people's favorite is out of me and you?
Depends who you are. Did I bark back at you in the comments? I've barked back at a few people in the comments, just leaving these unhinged things. So it depends. I think it would also depend on what kind of comment did you leave in the show, and now we'll
not
determine.
The Milky Bar Kid is sat on Spotify services and only pops up randomly in the comments, being like, "Where's my podcast?" It has been driven away by the YouTube channel because you call them out once on
Milky Bar just likes to poke the bear. That's all I like to do.
The Milky Bar Kid. You even disrespect the name as well.
If he disrespects me, I'm going to disrespect his name. I'm going to call you Milk Pillow from now on. You're a Milky Pillow from here on out. I deem thee Milky Pillow.
Who do you think people's favorite is out of the two of us?
Do you want me to say it?
It's you, isn't it?
Do you want me to say it?
Well, I'm the pantomime villain on this podcast. That's what I love doing as well. I will wind you up all the way, and I love hearing the sound of my own voice.
There you go. I think it all depends. I think it depends on if you're an extrovert or an introvert. That's like saying who do you think is the favorite of the four girls in
Swann.
The favorite though of everybody?
Yes. History will tell its time. They can all say cat and they can say whatever else they are, but Swann Holloway is that. When they write cat, they're meant to write Swan. That's what's
I'm an autumn person. I'm straight up with autumn, man.
Do you know what? We'll leave this for another video because a lot of people are sleeping on autumn, and we'll have a conversation about the four girls. Because I think the reception has been interesting on a lot of them. Because I thought we'll talk about it another time. Because again, I thought Swan would be a lot more popular for people, but maybe it's an introvert thing. But yes, thank you for the comment. It made our day as well. It's always nice to see. As I always said as well, we will win you over some way, shape, or form. You might not like us, but you'll eventually love us. That's what happens as well. And if you don't like us, you can go listen to another Life is Strange podcast. Oh no, you can't because there's no other. Oh no, no I'm joking. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for the comment, Adam. Spread the arts. What are you spreading?
You can spread first. Put that spread on.
Right.
Yes.
1 second.
Oh boy.
I am spreading my homegirl.
Oh
the
yeah.
Goat. Yeah, he knows what's coming. The goat before Michel. The main person is Emma Ficelli. Because I bought this one, which is packaged as well. My hunt is to currently get all these separately. I will hopefully one day get them signed by her. But I got the first one, which is the cover variant of Rachel Amber. This was, I think, through Forbidden Planet exclusives that she did. Her art is incredible. Like the fact that she's the writer on this, because obviously Emma has got a history of being a comic book artist, and a lot of her things came from Life is Strange comics to draw with. Life is Strange fan art that she drew. And obviously she got commissioned to do the writing on this. This is like a testament to one of her incredible pieces of art. And I wanted to give her an endorsement because, if you're sleeping on Emma Vicelli, you are lost as a human being because she is incredible. And her stock value has risen even more so in the aftermath of Double Exposure because she knows how to write Max. She also knows how to write Rachel and Chloe and all those other characters. So I want to give it a shout out because I think the cover is gorgeous. If you can see it there on the screen, just brilliant. This is not my favorite. When the favorite one arrives, I will do it on Spread the Arts because it's chef's kiss. Yeah. But I like collecting these just because it's I imagine in a couple of years these will be rare as well because I don't think they're going to last forever because it is ultra niche as it already is. So yes, do that. Also, Square, vinyl, please. Next time, Life is Strange vinyl, I want to be holding it here. Spread that art. Do something.
Square Enix is never going to make a vinyl unless it's, overpriced. You
Just
know,
reprint it, man. Just reprint it on the yellow recycled version. We would
you're
all
asking
buy
Square
it.
Enix to use common sense, and they don't have any.
Get me right. Okay, these things need to happen in life, right? I've zero marketing experience, zero anything, but I need to be running this IP, right? This is where I become the pantomime villain, right? I should be running the IP. I'll be printing vinyls off and be like throwing them at people. That's what's going to happen. And after that, I need to be put onto the Deck 9 writing team to write the sequel for Life is Strange Double Exposure. I have zero acumen in writing any video game. I've written nothing in my entire life that is worthwhile in my perspective, but I will write that sequel. Put me into something here. And I'll even be printing off Safi vinyls and throwing them at you at some point. That's how good I am. So yes, that's my spread of the arts. What's yours?
So first and foremost, I would like to shout out another audiobook format, like another audiobook page I've been using for a while now. So I've gotten off of Amazon pretty much completely at this point, barring anything that I've forgotten, because that's how Amazon works. They're at every aspect of your life. But instead of going on Audible, go on libro.fm. And it's the same price as Audible. It offers the same audiobooks, except for Audible exclusives, of course. So the same stuff, but that $15 a month, a portion of that will go to a local bookstore that you can choose. So you can look up your zip code, and a portion of that $15 a month will go directly to your local bookstore. So Libro.fm, I've been using for a while now, and you know what? Thumbs up for me. I like it a lot. And an audiobook, yes.
Just podcasts or no, sorry, just books or podcasts?
I don't think. Let me just look up a podcast real quick. Just look up like
Hey,
that. Well, I don't know. Let's find out. Are we
the
on there?
RSS feed sends us to everywhere. We should be on pretty much every platform.
No, it's just audiobooks.
Boo.
So it's just yes, it's for scholars instead of using it. I do use Audible sometimes for podcasts, but I don't pay for it. Like I just go on Spotify for podcasts or Audible for podcasts, just to do that. But the audiobook, one of the audiobooks that I've been that I did finish, and I do highly recommend. It's by Peter Singer, but it's called "The Life You Can Save" by Peter Singer. And if you don't know who Peter Singer is, he is one of the most hardcore ethical philosophers in our modern time. In our history, Peter Singer is like the Immanuel Kant of our time. He's Australian, and that sometimes he reads in the book. So it's very nice to hear an Australian talking to you. But The Life You Can Save specifically is how you can use your money to donate to higher causes, right? And what excuses you don't have by it. So he goes off of first the billionaires in the world saying, like, have they given enough? And he talks about, no, they really haven't. And they don't live a high status life. And he gives these purposes. But then he goes to you. Have you been giving enough? So nobody is off the radar here. But not only does it give you reasons to give, but also give you practical resources of how to give. So it's a really good argument. The whole audiobook is 7 hours and 20 minutes. So it gives you, it's a good layout of why you're not giving enough, what you can do, like how that money will give the good causes, and how you can give your steps to giving. So I really enjoyed it. And I never felt guilty. It just more made me feel alive in how I should be setting up my monthly like my monthly giving to certain places. So The Life You Can Save by Peter Singer on libro.fm. I highly recommend this book.
It does sound like an interesting pick. Sounds like something up your alley.
Yeah. No, it was really. In fact, there were some special guests, including Kristen Bell, who read a chapter. There's some Nobel Prize winners who read this. So yeah, it's got a full cast of. In fact, oh shoot, from Hall & Oates. No, not Hall & Oates. Shoot, there's a famous musician who does read a chapter in this, and I can't remember who it is.
Dreadful.
Oh well. I guess you'll have to read it and find out for yourself. Shocker. But there's some really cool guests in this.
No, it sounds pretty cool. Before we
Yeah.
sign off as well, are you going to be buying and supporting off that platform Life is Strange Heat Waves?
What am I going? No.
Why not?
Well, because one, I already supported it on Audible. And secondly, Heat Waves? No, not going to do that. Never.
Just it was not.
No.
Oh man, it's so hard. Like since True Colors, that 2021 plus run, the only thing that I've enjoyed Life is Strange, barring True Colors, is what's it called? Staff Story, Rosie
Yeah.
Forsberg.
Oh,
which is like
yeah,
fantastic.
Story.
Like that.
No,
is, like,
right now,
fantastic.
I will say this. I just got my new credits for this month. And I've already read this book, but this is an updated version read by the author. So I'm looking forward to like hearing him read the book as well as the updates. But it's called How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. I understand the whole financial thing that happened with Ibram Kendi. I understand that, but the words were good in this book, and I wanted to hear him talk on it.
You should look. Do you know Katie Benz did an audiobook as well?
Yes, we discussed this on this podcast.
Another one.
Yeah, we discussed that.
Oh, did we?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I don't think. I thought we didn't. I know she did Staff Story, but she did another one recently. I thought like
Yeah,
it
she
might be
did.
your
Yeah.
alley if you. I would recommend you check that out as well because Katie's lovely.
Did you listen to it? Did you read it?
I support everything that Katie Benz does. That's what it is. That's why I'm here plugging it on the podcast because if you want to see more Katie Benz and hear more Katie Benz, you know where to find Katie Benz. That is including on audiobooks because we do adore her. Anyway, yes, we will sign off here now. That's it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments about everything else, about Don't Nod deals, about any of the topics as well. Is Michel like Swann? Is he more like Max? He might say it, but he might not believe it. Challenge him on those perspectives.
Sure.
That's the important thing. See, this is why people like me more than you. That was a stupid question me asking before. It's clearly me. If I put a poll out, it would be me at the top.
I mean, you should.
I should be like, who's your favorite podcast host? Adnan Riaz or Adam Evalt, and then in brackets, not Adam, actually Adnan. And there's the results there. The results will.
And I would never see it because I'm not on social media.
or if you, or when I'm losing,
if you put it on X, I'll never see it, so my feelings will never be hurt.
Or when I'm losing, I'm setting up burner accounts every day. Like I want to vote for myself.
Vote.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are new here and you like this video, even if you didn't like this video, you should subscribe, turn notifications, and like this video. If you don't, I'm going to throw you through that wall like Daniel does. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to chuck you through it as we did in Life is Strange 2. You will go through that wall, bang, hit it. You might not go ripping it down, but it's going to happen. I need someone make me a catchphrase. The Abyss one is so natural. This one's just difficult. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Podcast is available on all podcast services, so check us out on Spotify with the video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and rate us over there. Go and download them. You get instant access as soon as the episodes become available. It helps boost our visibility. So, guys, stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the second part of this. We will be back now next week with the Lost Records Journal, obviously. Hopefully, we've got a couple of theory videos coming up as well. Adam as well. Someone ruined one of our theories, but I'll tell you afterwards. Didn't ruin it. They sussed out one of our theories that we had planned for a conversation, so we're going to have to do that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye.
Later.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.